should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. Get it, Mario? You know, the shitty guy from the shitty 90s artist. And I just said shitty before the 15-second mark. Demonetized.
Not like monetizable anyway.
But welcome back to StillerBros at the Movies, where once again we are going to be going to see a movie that we're probably too old for, but we're probably gonna watch and love anyway. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Now, about 43 years of context, Mario Brothers is probably the greatest gaming franchise of all time. That is not an opinion, that is an absolute fact. Do not at me.
But the Mario Brothers is a well-established franchise. It's got 4 decades of name recognition. Generations of gamers have been built on this. And honestly, we're casual gamers. We have established this multiple times in this show.
However, we have played many a Mario game.
Mario Kart Double Dash, it was a big favorite when we had our GameCube. And personally, I'm the kind of gamer that when I do get into a game, I will tend to play on and on and on every second that it's available to me. I remember one particular summer, I played through all of Super Mario Bros. 3 on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. I don't claim to be a hero. I just claim to be a hero.
He spent pretty much every waking moment that summer playing on that thing.
But anyway, yes, we can just flat out say we love the Mario franchise. So, which is probably one of the reasons why we never watched the original 1993 Mario Brothers movie starring Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
Also, because we probably didn't know it existed until about 15 years ago.
But we very much did not touch that movie. And the 93 Mario Brothers movie is famous for a lot of things. It's famous for a few memes based on how bad it was.
For clearly not understanding the source material, for the lead actors being infamously drunk for most of production.
For the fact that it nearly killed Bob Hoskins like 3 different times on the set, and the fact that until his dying day, Bob Hoskins basically said that the biggest regret of his career was the Super Mario Brothers movie. You can't blame the guy because he was fresh off of Who Framed Roger Rabbit at the time, so obviously he wanted to jump in and do another big franchise-y cartoony movie. Unfortunately, he made that.
Yeah.
This movie that only scratches the surface of doing slightly less than the bare minimum of calling itself a Mario Brothers movie.
Yes. But because of that, Nintendo kind of got skittish about giving away the rights to any of their other stuff.
Basically, Nintendo has rarely made adaptations of their material. There's been like an Animal Crossing anime, Pokemon movies, that's about it.
And the Pokemon thing is only because Nintendo does not outright own Pokemon.
They've just had them as they've just been porting them under some exclusive licenses. We don't know the inside baseball of gaming politics. But long story short, Nintendo has not really, despite constantly being told, hey, you guys should make movies out of this, and this, Nintendo has not actually made a movie in almost 30 years.
And now they're trying again, and they're doing it in a lot of ways to make sure that this movie is done right. So
let's talk about the directors of this movie, Aaron Horvath and Michael Helenek.
Yep.
Right. So these two are kind of fresh in the world of acting movies. So you'd probably be wondering, how did these guys get the job directing the Mario movie? Well, they're famous for being writers and showrunners on a little show called Teen Titans Go. Hold on!
We're gonna have to talk about this, aren't we?
Yeah. So Teen Titans Go is famously the more kid-friendly reboot of the Teen Titans television series from the early '80s that we grew up with. And it's benign. It's fun. It's fine in some cases, cringe in other places, but it's very much not as bad as its biggest detractors on the internet claim it to be.
As well as the fact that we can say two 30-year-old guys are not going to get much entertainment value off of a show meant for ages 6 to 11.
Look, sometimes Teen Titans Go will make you. It has actually funny material, as basically what if there were 5 Deadpools with kid-friendly material, and other times they'll just have a whole episode where Beast Boy and Cyborg speak entirely and say nothing but waffles the entire episode. It's just that kind of show.
Do we liked some episodes? Sure. We are not immune to potentially getting hit in the nostalgia with certain clever writing decisions,
and we're clearly not immune to stuff that's meant for kids. But here's the real thing about this. This movie was probably going to live or die based on a lot of people's opinions on Teen Titans Go, based on most by the people who were probably going to find out who directed this movie. But then the cast list came out, which was the thing that people really cared about when it came to it. Now, when it comes to the casting, I feel like one of the central casting decisions was something that everybody just jumped on immediately, so much that they ignored the fact that everybody else in this movie is perfectly cast.
Yes.
Charlie Day is a pitch-perfect Luigi, and for the record, his casting has led to one of the best YouTube videos that I've been obsessed with for the last 2 weeks, the last 2 days since I found it, which is why I'm putting it in the card right now. You're welcome.
But also, we have Jack Black as Bowser, which is just brilliant.
Jack Black as Bowser, and from what I've heard of his Bowser so far, he sounds pretty much exactly like I always imagined Bowser's voice to sound. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, and that's just the beginning. But the thing that really hit people the wrong way was the casting of Chris Pratt as Mario.
Now, we're gonna probably get into this a little more next time we talk about a Chris Pratt movie.
But for right now, we're just gonna say, yeah, it feels a little weird that they decided that Chris Pratt was brought in to voice Mario. Now, granted, what we have heard so far has sounded really good. Like he made a choice, and it seems like a logical one. But let's face it, all the people who wanted Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario in the games, to do it, or just someone who would do a decent imitation of that voice, or even just someone who would do a thick Italian accent, probably don't realize that the voice that Charles Martinet created for the character in the games was never meant to be a movie voice.
Yeah. Granted, we can say the same thing about the Goofy movie, and then Bill Farmer proved us wrong.
But nobody's saying that in our generation is saying that, because the Goofy movie slaps. It slaps.
Yeah, if anybody's saying bad shit, yes, I've said this already once today. If anybody says any shit about the Goofy movie, I will pull a Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I will come to your house. I will kick your ass.
But tangent aside, once again, what we've heard from Chris Pratt, he appears to be going for more of a Brooklyn accent, which is actually the way that Mario was originally voiced, until Charles Martinet decided to do a bit more of a stereotypical Italian plumber voice when he first started voicing the character, and that's just been the way Mario's been the entire time. But long story short, there's a reason that Mario doesn't really talk in most of his games.
It's because in the same.
And once again, it's not to knock Charles Martinet. Like I said, I'm a Mario fan. I love hearing Charles Martinet in all these games. But his voice was not. But he didn't make this voice with the intention of using it to talk, to deliver jokes and dialogue this way.
Yeah. So ultimately, it comes down to, is the voice going to work in the movie? And we have to see for ourselves, but from what we've heard so far, yeah, apparently he does well.
Yeah, apparently so much about this movie works, is from what we've heard. I've watched 4 different reviews for this movie so far, and all of them have been it's about 50-50, with the 150 being mid and the being, it's basically a middle of the road kind of reviews, and the other 50 being, this is great, this is the Mario movie that you would expect if you grew up playing Mario. Then there's Grace Randolph, who basically is offended by it, but I don't care about what Grace Randolph has to say about anything.
We are still very optimistic about this movie, no matter what. From what we've seen, it's very good.
It looks like this very well put together cartoony tribute to Mario, our nostalgia, our love of these games,
and the fact that Shigeru Miyamoto is working on this movie also helps quite a bit.
And the fact that they seem to have confidence in this. From what we've heard, there is plans for Seth Rogen to do a Donkey Kong spin-off, and there might be a Super Mario Brothers 2 or WarioWare or a Smash Brothers universe waiting for us in this. All we gotta do is cross our fingers and hope that this is the Mario movie that I would have loved when I was 10 years old.
We'll find out after the jump. Let's go!
I want to be objective, but I just can't.
It's so good! No hesitate. This is no exaggeration. I had a stupid smile on my face from second one till the very end.
This movie is crammed with so many Easter eggs and characters, and just... I loved it so much.
It was great. All right, let's talk about it.
So, once again, Chris Pratt is good in the role of Mario because he decided he didn't need to be Charles Martinet, though occasionally he will do a more accurate Mario voice just to get the fans like, come on, we got the Mario-isms that we want you to hit. Do the Mario things.
And then the rest of the cast is just these are these characters' voices in this version of the.
It was like I said, Chris Pratt was such an out of nowhere choice for Mario that people completely ignored that right from the get-go. All of the people they listed for literally every other cast character, with kind of one exception, but we'll get to that. That was so perfectly cast.
Yeah.
How is it possible that no one ever thought Charlie Day would be a perfect Luigi? It had never crossed anyone's mind. Charlie Day is a perfect Luigi. Jack Black as Bowser, yes. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, absolutely. Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, perfect.
It is just an insane level of love and respect, and it helps that Shigeru Miyamoto was involved very heavily in the movie this time.
He got a producer's credit. He's never gotten a producer's credit for this, and clearly this is Chris Maledandri of Illumination Entertainment felt the need to make this one of this at least partially his baby too, because he got the big producer credit too.
Yes. And that's another thing we didn't really bring up at the beginning, is that this is Illumination Studios. And yes, the Despicable Me movies been overrun and just squeezing every last drop of what they can out of this franchise? Absolutely. Does that make the animation any less amazing?
No. This is a beautifully animated movie. Every frame is colorful to the extreme.
This is a fully realized world, bringing the Mushroom Kingdom into a level that we have not seen before.
But we have seen the level. There's 8 of them.
Yes, but it is such a big, vibrant world full of colors and colors and mushrooms and little details all over the place. You can see every hair on Mario and Luigi's faces.
It's a fully realized recreation of the exterior of Princess Peach's castle in CGI from Super Mario 64. The wonderful world of the Mushroom Kingdom has never looked this vibrant, and it's wonderful. The slight character redesigns, of course, are just to make them a little bit more expressive and fitting of their actors, but otherwise they're near picture perfect recreations of the Haitians.
And the score, Brian Tyler killed it. because he put so much of the game score into the movie score to make it epic and just a perfect cinematic score for a Mario movie.
If you're one of those people who has played Mario games, or at the very least been on the internet enough that that the notes of this score are injected into your DNA, then every second you listen to it, you will hear a new piece of Koji Kondo's score, or perfect, beautifully orchestrated and built into Brian Tyler's score.
It is just, there's so much. It's so good.
It's so good. Every frame feels like it has a completely new Easter egg inserted into it because it's got these deep cut Mario lore Easter eggs and yeah, a lot of them are also from the most recent games. They include stuff like the hover carts from the most recent iterations of Mario Kart. They've got the cat suit. They've got all this other stuff. But then there's the deep lore stuff from Super Mario Brothers Super Show and all kinds of other stuff. It's just packed. I want to be objective about this. I want to be that guy who's like, well, the story's a little thin, but I just was so happy throughout this entire movie.
This movie is a friggin' blast from start to finish. You get to so much awesome stuff. Does it run a little fast? Does the whole thing kind of go by really fast and the plot doesn't really, and it just kind of chugges along to get to set pieces? Kinda.
I mean, there is the fact that everybody has pointed out that it does kind of feel weird that in a movie called Super Mario Bros. Others they separate the brothers pretty early. But am I going to complain about that? No, because this movie clearly wants sequels, so clearly there's going to be something going on there. There's 2 post-credit scenes on this. One is essentially just kind of a thing to insert on the to extend a joke, but the other one is kind of a sequel setup.
It's a better sequel setup than the previous Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yes, we could, not to rail on that old movie that we never really saw, but my God, does this movie get the Super Mario Brothers games?
It even has the Wizard of Oz. It even kind of has the Wizard of Oz feel that the original wanted to have.
It's so fun that this movie is colorful and wonderful. Wonderful. I got so invested in this whole thing, and expanding on certain characteristics of these characters just to make them actual characters. Like Princess Peach feels like she has an actual personality. She's not just this regal princess that you have to go save. She actually has a personality where it's like occasional, where she can be quippy and fun and action heavy, but is also just part of the adventure. Luigi is the coward. Mario is the dreamer. Bowser is the bad guy who just wants to destroy stuff because he's the bad guy, but he also has a deeper motivation. And it's not a spoiler to say that if you played any of the Mario Brothers games where Bowser's motivations are explored beyond he kidnapped the princess, then you already know what his deeper motivation is. And Jack Black is just amazing as Bowser, so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack Black, I've already found this out. Pretty much found this out. All I need to do is hear his voice, and I start smiling. It works in School of Rock, it works in The Holiday, it works in Spoiler Alerts, and it works here.
Not Spoiler Alert the movie, a different Spoiler Alert.
Spoiler Alert for something that came out today that I don't feel comfortable throwing around.
Yeah.
But I just really loved so much of this movie that I could go on about how it feels like it just paces through. And I mean, if we're gonna keep going with negatives, sorry Fred Armisen, but I think it's fairly obvious that they originally wanted Larry David for the role, but he might have been unavailable or something. So they were like, "How about Fred Armisen doing a half-assed Larry David impression?" Larry David probably said, "What the fuck is a Super Mario? No, turn it down. I gotta do another season of Curb Your Enthusiasm." But I still like it. But I still thought it was fine. Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong is still fun. but everything is so vibrant and colorful, and Seth Rogen and Hogan, and how have Seth Rogen and Jack Black not done a movie together until now?
I know.
Not even like Jack Black just randomly showing up at the party scene and this is the end.
I don't know, but I hope but I really sincerely hope that we're getting sequels to this, because this movie deserves all the sequels, and it was so fun to be to see this thing.
And it's just fun to see that this movie is going to that this movie is going to have fans. I have no doubt this movie is going to do well enough at the box office. Mostly because it's an established property, and it's the only animated movie that's coming out right now. But it's still just a fun ride. I'm sure a lot of Nintendo geeks are going to take their kids to this movie, or they're just going to go without kids like we did.
Yeah.
We were the oldest people in that theater who didn't have a kid with us.
Yeah.
But I just had so much fun.
Yeah.
I had the biggest smile on my face for pretty much the entire runtime of this movie, and I want to see sequels. I want to see more, and I just hope that this creative team can just keep it going.
Yeah.
So, I think that's it.
Yep.
So, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments what you thought of the Super Mario Brothers movie, and don't forget to tune in next time when we face the music one last time. Bye.